This is the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
So on the break that I got, which is an extended one for me.
You had some long service leave.
Yeah, I went over to Bali, which is no surprise as you hear that from me all the time.
Yeah,
obviously
it's your
for me.
second home.
Yeah, obviously for me, I like to go to the beach and hang out there, walk around in boardies and thongs and
Same
be
as
done
us,
with
right,
it.
Nathan?
Pretty much. We're all the same like that, aren't we?
Sean walked in this morning and said there was this one day I spent the entire day on the beach, and I went,
I couldn't think of anything
unless
worse.
I was,
Were you being
unless
punished?
I was marooned,
Were you held captive?
unless I had just spelled it SOS with rocks,
Yeah.
I don't see that ever happening.
I sat next to my good mate G'day, and we just sat there and we don't talk.
I know, g'day.
Yeah.
Is he from WA?
And Wyan and the gang.
Oh, yeah, of course.
We don't really even talk.
So you're just
We just
sitting
sat there.
there,
But what are you doing?
lapping it up.
Just lapping it up, just
So
taking
just
it all
lying
in.
in the sun.
Did you have your
What are
eyes
doing?
open
I
or
was kind
shut?
of sitting
You're
in
not
shade
reading-
under a tree.
We know you're not reading a book. So,
So
No,
wait, so you-
occasionally had a water, and then I'd go out and have a paddle around.
So you would
swim,
just
surf,
sit there
and
under a tree
come
and
back
just-
and sit in the same spot,
I might just look out.
Just look-
just
Looking.
looking at the
That
world and
just seems
taking
like
it all in.
You just look like a predator.
yes. Or slash the old
At
person.
times that can be accurate.
The old person sitting in their lawn chair. That's you.
Yeah. Sean's only a predator when you follow someone home.
That's
Oh,
right.
It's true. It's
But
true.
this time when I went over there, it started off because mates from school were going over there to have their annual piss up.
Yes.
And I'd never been a part of it because
About
things
holidays.
never really
It
aligned
never lined
with
up,
our
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
But I went over there and we got stuck into it. In that period,
Were they surprised because you weren't telling him? You
oh
came
yeah,
over
can I
early?
just tell you
Yes,
this part?
yes,
So I
please.
told my cousin Steve, and he was the only one that knew.
Yeah.
And then I was turning up Saturday morning. They went Friday. Anyway, I said to him, "Don't tell the others because you know that they'll just hammer me, right?
Yeah.
They'll just be paying out of me, and I want to see what their faces look like."
Yeah.
So anyway, I rang him from the airport. I said, "Be half an hour," and he came out and met me, and he said, "The timing's perfect. They are laying into you like you
about
wouldn't
not,
believe."
about never
really?
going. Yeah, right.
Oh, they just tearing into
tearing
you.
you
Well,
apart.
we usually don't start our Sean bashing until probably 4 days
Yes.
in.
Yeah. Looking forward.
We did a fair bit of it last week. But anyway, yeah.
So you walked in and
Yeah.
Were
It
they-
it's just surprised them. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny,
Yeah, that
Sean.
was good.
Yeah.
I thought that was
Keep
funny.
going.
Anyway, so we stayed at a villa for the first few days. Then we moved to another hotel, which is right next to the Padma, which is the place I always stay. The Padma Hotel.
Padma's your home ground.
It's my
Like,
home. They always say, "Welcome back to your second home, Mr.
Mr.
San,
San."
Mr. San." And I love walking around there because the security guards, or for some reason, the security guards and me, we always have conversations.
They've
and
got
then there's a
pictures of
number
you.
of friends.
Sean, it sounds great. It's like high five heaven, is it? Hey, hey.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was, and it is. So we moved into another hotel with a couple of mates just to kick things off, which is next door. But I thought I'll go into the Padma because that's my home ground. They'll welcome me. And at one stage,
Sorry.
What were you going for?
What were you going in there for?
well, originally I just went in to change some money because I feel like that's a safe
Okay,
option for
yeah.
me.
So you trusted,
you
they
know
were
them.
trusted
Yeah.
providers, okay.
The other times I just think, well, the pool's probably the best pool in Indonesia.
Sean, you cannot stay at another hotel and then go into your favourite hotel and use the amenities.
Well, I can.
No, you can't.
He's Mr. San.
I know, it's all confused. They're all looking at the front desk going, I do not see where Mr. Sean is.
It's the sun.
That's insane.
So I did that a few times,
It's insane.
obviously,
It's
and
insane.
I did that early the first week of our break because people weren't on school holidays. There was plenty of area for
Yeah,
Mr.
right.
Sun to,
Mr. Sun to relax
spread his
and-
wings. And then a couple of days ago, I thought some friends of mine were at the there in the morning, and I was going to catch up with them. I'd lost my
Yes.
phone. It's another
Yeah.
story, but I didn't have everyone's numbers, so I'll just go and see them at the buffet breakfast. Say g'day to a few of the
did you
people
eat
that are
the
around there.
breakfast?
I had a sneaky couple of drinks.
Yeah, not staying there.
So what I did is I just walked in because, I'm throwing
You're
high
Mr.
fives
Sun.
with everyone. Mr. Sun, he can do whatever
And
he wants.
they're still looking on the register going, I did not find
And
Mr. Sun.
They don't
Where
get a
is he?
chance,
Where's
mate.
Mr. Sun?
I walk past, before they've got
Because you just-
clipboards out, and I just stroll past
stride
them.
with purpose.
Like, hands up in the air. So I walked around, did a lap, said g'day to this lady, Senti, who's been there for 100 years, and then I decided, they've got this section, and I always love a healthy juice to kick things off. So I just thought, well, I'm here. So I started necking a couple of
Are they
juices.
inclusive of your stay?
Yeah, that's part of the
Yeah.
buffet breakfast. Not my stay, for the people that stay there.
Yeah, for the people that stay there.
Yeah.
Because that's not you.
And then I then I had, I don't know,
Then you
probably
had
two or
what?
three skulls, and then I sat down. Oh, no, I didn't sat down. People called me over. I just started talking to a few other people from WA.
Yeah. And did you eat anything?
No, I was going to, because I did say to Ollie before my son, and he only... he was asleep at that stage because I said to him, we'll just go to the Padma and have breakfast because,
Sure.
I've paid a lot of money that joint.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I know, but
and you
not
paid
on
a lot
this
of money for the
occasion.
services you used. So now this is a different bunch of services.
I stayed at a hotel that was less than $100 a night. It was all right though.
I
was
would
pretty
love
wrapped
if
with
the
it.
next
But
time
I
you
don't
stay
do
at
breakfast.
Padma-
Apparently not good at breakfast, though.
The next time you stay at the Padma, they're like, "Oh, before you check in, can you just settle up your bill for me?"
This is the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Being in Perth, we've all been following the niche living drama. Some of these customers have been waiting 4 years for their homes to be built. The State Tribunal stepped in for a second and basically they were waiting to get insurance so they could get their houses built, and then they gave niche living the okay to start building again, so now they're back on waiting for them to be building. Now, Jeff Parry's been covering this, and recently we saw in the news that the owner of Niche Living, Ronnie, had work commencing on his wife's house, but no one else that is a paying customer. Then we saw on the news Jeff Parry having one of the most eventful interviews.
How you going, Ronnie? Remember me? Jeff Parry from 7 News. You're kidding me, aren't you?
3 times.
Dude,
Three
the
times.
camera. Kidding me, aren't you?
3 times he was tapped to the ground.
Got a gun or is it a camera?
Chill out, mate. Drop the camera.
We've done this job for 21 years. We've never been tackled to the
No.
ground while doing it.
No. Jeff Parry from Seven
Seven
News
News.
joins us now, and part-time wrestler. Hello, Jeff.
Good morning. How are you?
Hi, Jeff.
Can I say,
Stop upsetting builders, Jeff.
can I say, Jeff, I didn't realise that when I saw you tackled to the ground, my immediate thought was, don't you hurt Jeff Parry.
You're a national treasure.
I didn't know I cared that much.
Oh, it's very nice of you to say.
Hey Jeff, was Ronnie coming at you with some kind of charges, or was it the other way around that I saw last night?
Oh, he's made a complaint to the police. Are you talking about police charges?
Yes, that's it. Yeah,
Police charges?
yep, that's the one. Yeah.
He's taken a complaint to the police. He went down there. That whole thing happened on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yep.
He after that he went to the police and made a complaint, and he then went online that morning and said he's going to press charges against myself and Christian, who was my cameraman. And that he'd suffered personal injury. So anyway, the police yesterday confirmed that there was an investigation, or that there is an investigation. I've heard nothing from them. My boss has heard nothing from them, but just sort of see where that one goes.
And you do have a lot of footage that suggests that he's the aggressor.
I must admit I was a bit surprised at the claims that he's made, given that I was there, and given
It's all on film. Yeah.
It's on camera, yeah.
So, Jeff, in this circumstance, now we've seen you do this gig for a long, long time, putting yourself right in there, getting the story out there so people understand what's going on both sides. When you're getting in someone's space like that, because you're trying to get an answer and trying to get a result for people at home, how far can you push it?
Well, that one went to sort of, not the extremes, but it was sort of at the upper limit, if you like, of where we want to be. And look, the whole point, I think, is that this guy's running a building company that has caused grief, sort of unbelievable grief for people, financial grief.
Everyday grief that they're facing, every day.
They've had their banks are foreclosing on their mortgages because they've exceeded the period that you can have a mortgage for.
God.
They've got no homes. They're living in caravans. They've got families. They're being evicted around them. All of this sort of stuff's going on, so you can imagine how they feel when they find out that he's proceeding with work on his wife's home. But not only that, we showed last night there were a couple of other homes at an incomplete complex over in Aurelia where there are 2 units amongst a whole bunch of them, and the only 2 that are getting work on are owned by Ronnie.
Are you joking?
Paul Bitdorf. No, they're some tilers and traders. The tradies have been there for weeks since he got his building licence. Back from the SAT. They've been over there. So we spoke to a couple of yesterday. We spoke to a couple of owners over there who one's been waiting 4 years, one's been waiting 4.5 years. This is when they signed up. And they just, they can't believe it like everyone else. So, look, that was the point.
That is the point. And
he's never been forthcoming. And a couple of times, I did it about 6 weeks ago, so we had this sort of kind of civil conversation as he was returning home from a restaurant out in the street. This one sort of went pear-shaped. very quickly. But all we were trying to do was get answers on behalf of those folks.
Yeah.
So there's so many people that are waiting for their houses to be complete, like this. We're talking thousands, aren't we, at this point in time?
250.
Yeah.
250. Okay.
250.
So when you're confronting him and you've got him doing his wife's house and something out two others that he owns, where does he start from, and why isn't he starting from another position?
Well, has he ever answered why he's doing that instead of his...
Instead of the actual
Has he ever given us an
customers.
answer?
Yeah.
Well, when I spoke to him, it was about 3 months ago, I think it was the first time, we couldn't really get... His main claim then was that these people have waited so long for their houses to be finished, the price had gone up by $300,000 or $400,000, so they'd made money on a all they had was a shell and a piece of land. But he thought that was a sort of a plus because they'd made, because the property market had gone up and they'd made a couple of $100,000 on an incomplete house. So,
Yes, and also they're paying rent. They have other expenses.
It's crazy.
Yes, indeed they do.
They have to live somewhere.
So all of that, and then about 4 or 5 weeks ago, they had their building licence, which had been taken off them by the state government. The independent building registrar had removed his licence, so he went to the state administrative tribunal, and to be honest, I mean, people couldn't believe it because the evidence was given that the company's owes $44 million, more than $7 million is owed to the tax
So
office.
can we stop the story right?
License back.
Can we stop the story right there? Why? We found out why they see fit to do that, because the other option was the fact that the owners that have been waiting for 4 years were going to definitely get insurance. They were really excited for that.
And that's dead right. That would have triggered if they hadn't have got their licence back. That would have triggered their insurance, so then they could go and get, I think it's about $200,000 for some. That would probably not enough to finish their homes, but certainly get them on the way. They could start negotiating with other builders, and when they got, some of them were doing this.
So what did the tribunals say though? So what did the tribunals see that went, I'm going to trust that he's going to do the right thing and make these customers wait anymore? Because the tribunal should stop things like this. They're meeting in November, so there's no way they're going to pass it again, obviously.
Well, he goes. He then goes into basically he's going into bat now to argue. So what they did was they said, look, all right, we understand both sides of it, but you can. And the application was for a stay of the removal of the building licence. So he could basically keep trading or keep building. Because his building licence was restored, and it was going to be argued.
Isn't finished yet.
Well, and it's going to be argued in November. You're right. So he then goes into bat. But everyone was pretty gobsmacked.
Yeah.
Because they thought, look, this is the end of it. The government thought it was the end of it. The people have been sort of putting up with this for years, and they thought, well, okay, here is the trigger. Now we can get our insurance. We can negotiate with other builders. That all went on hold when the SAT made its decision. So
what's the value with
you
niche?
can imagine the frustration.
I can't see just from the outside. What is the value with niche living holding? Making sure that they still had their license. Ronnie still had his license to build. Given that it's an easy one to then go, okay, now, and then everyone gets their house.
Natalie hit it because he has three of his wife's apartments, two apartments and a house to do.
Oh God, I'm not sure.
Sure. That's what he's doing.
No, I know, but
he fought. He went to the tribunal to fight for his right to build again, and then instead of helping the customers that paid for his life, he's instead doing his wife's properties. That's why he did it.
Undertakings were given to SAT by his lawyers.
Yeah.
That let us keep our license, and we will prioritise the homes that we are obliged. We're contracted to finish. But he hasn't, and there's been no communication. There's been no. They've obviously had. It was a big ask anyway, because when he lost his licence, he let a lot of his building supervisors go. A lot of his trades went. A lot of trades don't really want to deal with the company,
no, of course.
And so it was a case of, well, they were going to have to try and get the trades back. So the trades that he's got back He's put them to work on his wife's house and a couple that he owns over in Aurelia.
Jeff Parry, we're going to be watching
they're the
7
ones we
News.
know of.
We're going to be watching 7 News. You, at the moment...
We need to wrap you in bubble wrap, though.
I think what you're doing is great, Jeff. This is real, true journalism where you are after a story and you're trying to get an outcome
And
for some
looking out
people
for
that
people
have been
really
that have been
wronged.
dragged through the mud.
Yeah.
So good luck, Jeff. We're all going to be following this very a lot. So don't tackle Jeff.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, yeah.
Good to talk.
Nathan, Nat, and Sean in podcast form.
We took some calls. People were trying to win tickets to see Kylie Minogue.
Yeah, so every day this week we've been doing a competition based on a Kylie song. Today was Confide in Me, so we got people to tell us their secrets. And we didn't know if we were going to get some good ones. We were wrong.
Sarah, what would you like to confide in us?
I'm going to confide in you. I bite my toenails.
How do you...
Gee, you're
do it?
flexible.
So
She's
you do
not
it-
lying about that because that's gross.
So you do that in private? Yes.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Who knows about you biting your toenails?
Oh, look, I do have a 12-year-old son, and he has seen me a few times. So, call it a secret, call it not. He does see me do it.
It's not something that publicly people know about
No.
you, is it?
Jeez. Are you
Well,
double
I'm not
jointed
going
in
to sit on a
everything?
park bench and do it, am I?
Can you actually get your foot to your mouth now?
Sean, this is
We
our
like
show.
that.
Sean, we can all get our feet in our mouths.
I
yeah,
actually
okay,
can.
Yeah.
So you would sit there and do this on the couch while you're watching TV, Sarah?
Absolutely.
And are your sole face up, so the soles of your foot's facing you, and then you...
No. What do you mean?
No, my toes. So it's like,
They're
Sorry,
coming up
mate.
this way.
Yeah.
They're coming
Yeah,
up
but
this
I
way.
was
The
thinking
sole will be facing away from your face.
It'd be hard to get the angle on your toe. See how you're doing it?
Which one are you chewing? Is it the little toe or the big toe? Or all of
big
them?
toe
The big toe.
first.
No, you can get it.
But you're getting it sideways. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But I
but you
don't think
just
you
chew,
can do
it's
it that
got
way. I
teeth,
can
yeah.
move my...
you really got to get in there,
Sean,
I'm
this
in
is,
there physically doing it to
this
show
is
Sean.
what you're questioning.
Mate, I'm investigating every story to the nth degree.
There's no way Sarah's lying about that because it's so gross you wouldn't want anybody to know. So I can see why you keep it a secret.
Sarah, so you're single currently at the moment?
No, I do have a partner.
You kiss a
but
man with that mouth.
He doesn't know that I do this.
See, this is a secret. You should ask him to bite them
Sarah.
for you if he loves you.
That's gross. Going to go to Stella in Shelley. Good morning, Stella.
Good morning, team. How are we?
Great,
Stella.
Confide in us.
Now, this is being very honest, and I've told nobody this ever. But when I'm sitting down on the couch watching Netflix, probably with a glass of red, I'm picking my cracked heels and I throw them at the cat and he eats them.
And we're done.
Wow.
And we're done.
That's so good.
I mean,
Cat eats it.
she tells the cat it's fancy feet.
But this is the worst thing, though. We do know that, sometimes if you die at home, cats eat your face,
Yeah,
and this
that's
cat's
right.
already had a taste of you.
Yeah, that's right.
This cat's
That's
been like,
asking
well,
for trouble.
the amuse bouche was delicious. I wonder what the face is like.
Oh,
Sorry.
I mean, Stella, no further questions.
No
I think.
further questions.
That's
Hey.
extraordinary.
Unbelievable. These have
No,
been
the
great
secret's
calls.
out there.
Yes, secret is out. Can we just go over how
Yes.
good these stories have
Let's
been? So
talk
we
about
had the
them.
nails. You're eating the nails
So
from your
Sarah
feet.
Yeah.
choose her own toenail. She has a partner who doesn't know that she does
Natalie,
this.
you're disgusted by that,
That's
aren't you?
gross.
Yeah, but then we've got next
Lisa.
up, Lisa pooed herself in the car and
Yeah.
then wiped, then cleaned herself up while still driving.
Whilst driving. Julie knows that somebody stole $23,000
I think
from
Julie
a
got a bit
business.
spooked because Julie hung up straight away
Yes.
after she told us.
She's very vague about a story.
Her
Would
name
you
wasn't
believe
actually
it?
Julie,
No.
just so you
And
know.
Stella, that was very interesting. And
Yes,
guess what,
she
Stella?
picked-
You're walking away with
Stella!
Kylie Minogue tickets.
Hello.
Stella, you're off to see Kylie Minogue. That was
Oh, my God.
bringing the cat into it. Got it from
I know.
And if you can, please let Kylie know your story.
Yes.
It's the Nathan, Nat, and Sean podcast.
So I was in Kmart and a woman walked up to me and asked me to lie to her husband on the phone by pointing furiously at her Woolworths bag, suggesting that I say that instead of letting him know that she's in Kmart
So-
spending money because she's obviously banned from there.
If you're listening and you've banned your wife from Kmart and that random guy yelled
She had blonde
Woolworths
straight hair, sort
on
of
the
just down to
phone.
her shoulders.
What day was it?
It was Monday, Tuesday, I think. Tuesday.
yeah.
It was Tuesday.
Matt's and Karen up. Good morning, Matt.
She'd be furious.
Good morning, gang. How you going?
Great,
Great, Matty.
Good.
Okay, now, did you lie for a stranger or did a stranger lie for you, Matt?
I had a stranger lie for me many years ago. So many years ago, when I was backpacking with my girlfriend, we'd flown into JFK Airport in New York, our first trip to the US, We're standing in a long queue in some sort of skywalk, and to my left there's a door that clearly goes out of the tarmac. And because Americans, being Americans, are very, very explicit, on the door it says, "Do not touch this door,"
Yes.
which is like a red rag to a bull. So I start playing with the door, and before you know, all the alarms in the skywalk go off. There's security guards running up and down the way. And my girlfriend, who's in front of me, turns around and looks at me and says, "You touched that door, didn't you?" Because she knows exactly what I'm like.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I just go in full denial. No, it wasn't me. I didn't touch the door. It was nothing to do with me. And the guy behind me could see what was going on. He just leant forward and said, No, he didn't touch the door.
Oh.
No, he didn't touch the door. It was an accident.
Oh,
He had no-
Matt!
You didn't even ask him.
Yes.
Didn't even have to ask him. It was awesome. I thought, thanks, dude.
What a great
And so
man.
You know
he didn't
what?
believe-
If there are
What's
people
that?
like that, if there are people like that in the world that are
Yes.
just waiting
What
to
a
lie for
hero.
someone without even being asked,
Yes,
that is
just
that's
reads the
a
room.
bloody good person.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that is hilarious.
Maybe because he
mate.
didn't want to stand next to a
Yeah.
brawling couple for the rest of the time they're in the queue.
Hey, Matt.
Self-preservation.
Matt, so are you the person, if there's a big red button, you will press it?
Yes.
You should be a train driver, Nathan.
Matt, was this
Especially if it says do not touch.
do not touch?
Do not
yeah.
touch.
Was this incident before or after 9/11?
Well before.
Well, before.
Yeah,
Okay.
can you
Otherwise,
imagine
you'd
otherwise?
still be in prison, probably. Good on you, Matty. Thank you. Michael's in Bayswater. Hi, Mike.
Hi, how are you?
Hey,
Good
you, Michael.
Now, did you lie for a stranger or did a stranger lie for you?
Lied for a stranger. So I was in Aberdeen Street brick paving in my 20s.
Yeah.
And we're working away. A fella comes running around the corner, looks at us, jumps over the orange bunting, takes his shirt off, picks up some pavers and starts laying some bricks.
Yes.
We started looking at each other going, what the hell's going on here? About a minute or two later, a copper's running around the corner. Walk up the road, keep going. We didn't say anything. He didn't stop working. Didn't talk to him all day. And by the
He
end of the
stayed
day,
home.
He stayed there. He worked the entire day.
He made 300 bricks.
You got a shift from him.
Hey, Mike.
by the end of the day, the boss goes,
Yeah.
you want a job? He said, yeah, no worries.
He got
Come and
hired.
work for- Yeah, he come work for about 3 weeks, but then he must have gone to court because we never saw him again.
Oh, my God.
Escaping the police, he took his shirt off, started working for you. You guys hired him on the
Yes.
spot
And then he disappeared after 3 weeks.
because he had a go-get attitude.
Yeah.
Well, he obviously had the skill to lay bricks then, so he previously must have done it along the journey.
Yeah, quite possibly, yeah. He knew the pattern, he knew what he's doing, he just jumped over the bunting and started paving. So.
I mean, that's an
that is so
amazing
funny.
way to get away from the cops is just to
Yeah.
blend in by doing physical labour.
Nathan, Nat, and Sean podcast.
Victoria Beckham posted a photo of her whole beautiful family. They were in Paris for Paris Fashion Week.
Yeah, wow.
And she had a show going on. It was a big deal. Amazing.
And Cruz, her
Gorgeous photo.
youngest son, he's dating a woman who is 10 years his senior, and I don't know how she's feeling about this, but she cropped her out of the
her out.
photo.
Clearly, too.
Oh, so we are talking about when you crop somebody out and why.
Hey, can I tell you, we got so many phone calls. The amount of people who are being cropped out. This is a real this age problem.
Yes,
isn't
because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
very
it is.
easy
Yeah.
to do.
Hey, Shane.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good,
Shane.
Shane.
All right,
Yeah.
being cropped out, Shane. What happened?
I was, so last year we had this super fancy, like black and white pie Christmas party event at the Crown.
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
And I decided it would be a good idea to photobomb the CEOs when they were having this fancy photo.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
What
And
time?
then,
What time of
yeah.
night was that? What time of night was that?
It was probably around midnight, so
Oh,
it was
okay,
just
so
a
it
little
was
bit
late.
loose.
So you're
We
loose.
get it. Yep.
Yeah.
So then the next week on our home internet page, they were posted there with myself cropped out saying best Christmas party ever.
And you're like, I know I should be in that photo.
Did anyone speak to you about how loose you were and jumping in the photos at any stage the next
I
days?
didn't, I'm still there, so obviously it couldn't
yeah.
have been too bad. They just obviously didn't want me in the photo.
Yeah.
You know what? There would have been
Photoshop goes a
discussion
long way.
afterwards. So
Yeah.
we're going, we've only got one photo of all the CEOs together, and that dickhead. There would have been
Bloody
discussion about you.
Shane. Good on you, Shane. Thank you. Kathleen, hello.
Hi, how are you guys
Hey,
this
good,
morning?
Kathleen.
Now, did you crop someone out or were you cropped out, Kathleen?
I was actually cropped out about 10 years ago now when my ex and I broke up. A couple of months after that, I jumped onto Tinder and saw that he had used one of his profile pictures with one of our...
A couple picture as a profile picture.
But he cropped you out of it.
That's correct. And then he had the audacity after that to even, when he saw my profile, to super liked me as well.
So your ex super liked you on Tinder after you'd broken up.
Yeah,
Using a
that's right,
couple
yeah.
photo as his profile picture that had you cropped out.
That's right, yeah.
Well,
And
he's
you
got a
can
good
see
opinion
part
of himself,
my
doesn't
hair.
he?
I think you dodged that bullet, Kathleen.
He
God.
thinks he can cut through
You're
them,
not
Sean.
wrong.
Oh,
God.
Fair play.
there's a lot wrong with that.
This is a podcast of Nathan, Nat, and Sean.
We're talking about when you get cropped out of a photo or you crop somebody out. Perhaps you've got a very good reason. Victoria Beckham seemed to think she did, cropping out her son's new girlfriend, who's 9 years his senior.
Just certainly
mate.
sends a message.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
No, that's wrong.
To the world, especially when the world is watching. Like, it's one
For
thing if
sure.
it's just your family, but when the whole world's watching.
We look at how many phone calls we get during the morning, and the phone's been melting down for this. So the amount of people that have gone through this, just like Jamie from Success. Hey, Jamie.
Good morning, guys.
Hey,
How are
Jamie.
you?
Good.
Jamie.
So tell us
Jamie.
about being cropped out. Were you the cropper or the croppee?
Oh, well, I was neither in this case,
Oh.
but my husband's nana, she recently passed away, and we were going through photos and everything for her funeral, and we've realised that once you were in Nana's bad book, you were cut out of every single photo of hers.
Like,
Well,
physically
literally
cut
cut.
The
out.
good old-fashioned cropping with a pair of scissors.
Yeah, good old-fashioned cropping, not digital these days. So she would go out and actually cut your face out of the photos.
Yeah,
So there was a
so
lot
wait,
of
so
photos-
sorry, not a straight line, just like you would edit on software. She would cut the whole of your face out.
Just cut your face out. The body's still there, but yeah. So it's
That's
been
way
going on for a
worse.
few years.
Sure, it does.
That's way worse. That's a
Because it's
statement.
permanent.
Yeah.
That is serial killer stuff.
Yeah,
that
that
is
is.
you're on my list
Well-
next, and you're dead.
You shouldn't have crossed Nana.
Yeah, true.
Be
That-
nice to your
I'm
Nana.
sorry,
or she
she-
physically cuts you out of her pictures.
No, not all of you, just your face.
Thanks, Jamie. V's in Freo. Hello, V.
Hey, how you going, guys?
Good, mate.
Hey.
Now, is your mum a bit of a cropper?
My mum was the original cropper back in the day when digital photos didn't exist.
Yes.
I was married once before, and there was one of those portraits that you get done, the family portraits, where there's a couple of people standing in the back and
Yes.
some people at front.
Yeah.
Yeah, that little number. And we separated, and she really loved the photo, so she took that photo to a professional photographer and got the background superimposed over the top of him.
Wow.
So there was this big grey gap in between.
A couple of people saying together gap, and then a couple of people standing together. Are you joking? That is
the best.
so funny.
We still got it, and there's so you see,
Yeah.
three people, a big giant gap, and another person.
So really, you
like
look at that
a
big giant gap.
man-sized gap, you
I
might
mean,
say.
you think it would be a photo if you're standing near the Christmas tree. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A couple of people, Christmas tree person.
Yeah.
It's the best. It's the best. She still put it. She had it up. But she
That's
passed recently,
so
but
funny.
she had it up. She had it up in the lounge room for years, and we used to laugh at it.
Can I say that's very good, to the point
I
where
know.
that would be on a sitcom. That would be on a comedy.
But it's the fact
is
that
so
she
funny.
had to have it professionally
on
done as
her.
well is amazing.
Oh, I
isn't
know.
it?
And back then they didn't have the software to move the person over.
No, exactly. That's right. I guess you could have folded the paper.
Like a Mad magazine.
Nathan, Nat, and Sean in podcast form.
Taskmaster Australia continues on Channel 10 or 10 Play
if
as
you've
well.
never watched it, give
It's
it a go.
so
It is
funny.
actually really funny. I don't think the ads.
Do it justice, yeah.
I
It's
really
a
don't.
cracking show. And the Taskmaster, as we know, is one and only Tom Gleeson. We caught up with him this morning before the show.
Hey, how are you?
Oh,
Yeah,
we're
good,
doing
mate.
great. Hey, we spoke about you this morning, right? So this is our producer, Amy. Amy, come over to the microphone and tell us what you told us about
Tom knows me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much I love love your show, not this show.
Not this show.
Quizmaster.
Hard quiz.
No,
hard quiz.
Hard quiz.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you feel about us getting back to Taskmaster, Amy? Are you going to
No,
be watching
this
on
show's
Channel
great
10?
as well. Of course it is. But, yeah.
She watches it with her mother-in-law, Jean, and she was going, and we laugh out loud. That's what she said. Tom, she goes, we laugh out loud.
Oh, that's great. I mean, that's kind of the whole aim, but I agree that Australian TV in general is so mediocre that can come as a shock.
I'm glad you're holding up your end of the bargain then.
Yeah, and like bonding between a mother-in-law and a daughter-in-law, there's nothing quite like it, Tom.
and-
You're bringing families together.
80-year-old Jane said, he can get away with saying some really rude things. She's English,
Yeah,
Tom, so
it's
she
sort of, I mean,
can be quite offended, Tom.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, often people think that older people, you have to tone it down for older people, but I feel like, some of them have been through wars.
Yes.
They're fine.
They can handle it.
They went through the Depression. They had dripping tins in their fridge. Remember dripping tins?
We had one at home.
Tom,
My
this
mum did.
generation doesn't know about dripping tins. And if you're listening right now, dripping is all the fat from the different roasts and
you
meat,
would gather
meats
it up and use it again.
Yes, it'd be in a tin, and then every time they cook, they'd put another layer on top of it, and then it looked like sedimentary layers
Yes.
of
and you
rock.
can spread it on
It sounds
toast.
disgusting. You'd be able to buy it from, Woolies or Coles and chuck it in with a roast.
I know,
not
but
sad.
but having a decade-old dripping tin. Isn't that insane, Tom? That's our depression, the dripping tin.
They've lived through genuine adversity, if you've lived through the Depression, you've opened up the cupboard at some point, there's been no food in there. You're going to say the F word. You're not going to go, flipping heck, I have no food.
Indeed. It's a
Oh,
valid
darn it, we're
point.
starving.
Absolutely.
Where does Tom Gleeson go on holidays?
I'm in Byron Bay at the moment. That's where I go on
Oh.
holidays because I'm a massive TV star, so I have to go where all the other
Yes.
celebrities
Are
go.
you wearing
It's
like
a
white
rule.
linen pants at the moment?
Yeah, I've got white linen on. It's actually more of a moo-moo. It's not really a...
No shoes, of course. No shoes for
You actually
Byron.
don't strike me as the...
shoes,
No.
no underwear,
No underwear.
and I just wander around. And
Taking
everyone here's famous,
selfies.
so we don't ask each other for selfies because we're all
You're all
famous.
equally
They're all
famous.
just in the park with a crystal in their head looking up at the sun spinning around.
How many times have you had smashed avo on toast?
Well, we have it all day, like it's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So we actually had a giant avocado roast last night. It was great.
Can I say, I reckon I've not been to Byron Bay, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if you order anything at a cafe, it looks like it's been dragged through a park.
leaves
Seeds and twigs attached to it.
Yeah. For some reason, I don't picture you being a Byron Bay type of local. Is that a place you go regularly, or is this like a first timing?
Yeah, I've been going here for years and years and years. Yeah, so it's sort of like I don't know how you describe it. It used to be grungy, which is what I liked about it when I used to come here like 30
Then
years
Chris
ago.
Hemsworth ruined it, didn't he?
Yeah, but luckily, as the town has become more expensive, I've also become more wealthy. So it all lines up.
So
Luckily, yeah.
your
So
fortunes and Byron Bay's fortunes are tied together.
they're tied together. Yeah, and so I'm an irritating tourist. And I'm wrecking the joint by being here, and I'm
Yes.
pushing up prices. So I'm part of the problem.
Hey, I suppose we better talk about Taskmaster.
Third season.
Only because, Tom, very rarely, and we've seen a season already, absolutely brilliant. The second episode airs tonight. But very rarely does a show that's been taken, that I've seen from Britain, from the UK,
It translates well.
And I think is even better, and it's because of you, I think, the way that you deal with your
that's nice
your
of you to
hosts.
say.
Yeah.
I think the format is really rock solid. Essentially, I send comedians out to do tedious tasks. They come back, they watch their efforts for the first time
Yes.
in front of the studio audience,
So
and they're mortified, and I just really narrow in on what they feel bad about and highlight any failures they've made, and it leads to a lot of laughter. So.
Yeah.
It's playing to the natural game. I mean,
It is.
essentially, I get to pay
It's
out
so good.
my colleagues
Yeah.
who I've known for a long time, and they just have to take it, and it's the best.
They can't
That's an
have-
easy gig.
They wouldn't have had to consider anybody else for this role, would
No.
they? You would have been top of the list. Yeah.
Oh, but then again, Grant Daniel would have been in the mix.
When Channel 10 asked me to do it, I said, yeah, sure, and there was. They were kind of umming and ahhing about whether or not I do it, and I thought, well, they're either got their heads screwed on and they'll get me to do it, or they're going to get someone else to do it, and the show will fail. So
Yes. So what?
100%.
Yeah.
You know.
Hey, Tom, in the TV world, is there a natural alignment between the ABC and Channel 10? Because it seems like a lot of shows that you see, or Australian comedians in particular,
So do
will
you
go
think- do you
either
think-
or, but you don't see seven.
Do you
or
think there's an
not.
underground tunnel?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think Channel 7 and Channel 9 are still holding on to the idea that they have network stars. But what they haven't done is they haven't watched their own network for a while, and they haven't realised they don't really have any stars. They've just got a lot of people who smile a lot at the camera, even though they aren't very talented. Whereas the ABC and 10, they just don't really care. because
Yes.
they understand no one gives a shit anymore.
Yeah.
So they both leave their doors open, and we just walk between the studios between 10 and ABC, and no one gives a shit.
Not a true word
I mean,
spoken.
you really
today.
summed up the
I
Australian
cannot.
television industry.
That
in one
anyone
sentence.
that's ever had anything to do with the media is
Yes.
pissing themselves
Yes.
laughing right now.
I
That
know.
is so funny.
So good. Great cast on this one. Is
Yeah.
it true that you filmed this series before the last one?
Yeah, this was
Yeah.
filmed. It happens in the UK too. Sometimes they play the series out of order.
Yeah.
They did it this time because I don't even know who it was, but there was one of the cast members wasn't available to do publicity at the time that they were wanting to release it, so they flipped it.
Oh.
But it doesn't really make a difference to
No,
me.
it
I mean,
doesn't.
they're all.
But it does suck for you
all
if
the
you're
series
planning
are
a
kind
face
of much
tattoo.
the same, but it's kind of weird because this one that's on air now, we actually recorded about a year ago.
Yeah.
So it's more fun for me to watch because I cannot
Can't
remember what happened.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it's fun.
Well, you know what? You're making Gene laugh out loud.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right,
that's
and
good
that's all that
news.
matters. And tonight we see,
But not on this show. Just, can I just put that out there?
if the promo's got anything to do with it, we see Reese Nicholson lose their temper, a little bit of
Oh,
a snap.
no, Reese.
Yes.
Yeah, Reese does snap a bit.
Yeah.
Pete was also fun because Peter Hellier,
Yeah.
I start needling him for his old school 90s comedy, as I start to call it. And
Yes.
I think I was chiseling away at him for a couple of episodes before he looked up and he said, "Hang on, you're the same age as me."
Yeah. But, I mean, you age shamed Will Anderson in the last series as well. Is that just the way it is? You plonk in one person who's roughly the same age as you, and then you age shame them against all the young
Yeah,
kids?
absolutely. Yeah, you just keep chiseling away.
Well, 7:30 tonight on Channel 10, Taskmaster Australia. It's the second episode of Series 3. Thank you very much
Thanks,
for your time,
Tommy.
Taskmaster.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
Nathan, Nat, and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au. Nova.